Hello everyone, this is Pooja here from Simple IT Learnings. Today I'm going to talk about how to design test suite and test cases. In this whole video, I have taken two examples to talk about and how to write test cases, how we should think as a QA, like what should be our thought process, and what is the effective and efficient way of writing and executing any test cases. So my first example will simply teach you how to write the test cases. And my second example that I will go through will teach you how to think as a QA in an effective and efficient way so that your test cases are really quality test cases, which really fulfills the business requirement without making any extra efforts in a quality way. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing that you need to know to write any test cases is what is a business requirement? What are the possible test scenarios for that requirement? Simple thing. Whenever you have to write a test cases, you would need to know what is my requirement, what is my scenario. I have taken a very easy and simple examples to teach you how to write the test cases is by using the login screen example. Here are the various login screens that you may have seen with the different combinations. Like some will just ask you user ID and password and you just log in. Some will validate your user ID. In this case, we have taken a online banking. So you will have to provide your card number, which will get validated, and then your password. And then both will together be validated. And then only you will be able to proceed further. And some will be like validating you through a third party, which is called API testing. So we will not be talking too much about this kind of a testing because will have a separate video for you, which will talk just about the API testing. But this is just an example that various type of login screen, which kinds of fulfill this one requirement, which is like validating login screen using a valid user ID and valid password. So in this case, I talked about the requirement. My test scenario is validate login screen using valid and invalid combinations. High-level test case examples in this particular case would be your valid username with invalid password. Then I have it here, invalid username and valid password. This is where something that I'm to focus on, how a QA should think, how the QA thought process should work before writing any test cases, valid username and valid password. So the requirement original was validate login screen, and the test scenarios are validate login screen using valid and invalid combination. You will see before writing any test cases, we need to think about precondition. Precondition is what? Precondition is something that has to happen before you can even start building the test case or before you can start executing the test case. So in this case, a precondition is user is already registered and has a valid account. Then only we can run this test case, right? If there is no user registered, then we cannot do this. That's a precondition. In order to write any test cases, few things that we have to always keep in our mind. Test case ID, the ID word is missing here. Test case name, the steps, test data, expected results, actual results. Some mandatory fields that you have to write. So in this case, test case name is valid user ID and valid password. Test steps is like a step-by-step process to the point where you decide whether we have achieved the goal or not. So in this case, open the app, type valid user ID, type valid password, click on submit button. This is the test data that I have used. And my expected result should be a successful login or to the next page. And whatever is your expected result, you will type it here. And if it fulfills the same way, then your actual results would be pass. As you would be seeing in this example, I have these two in the red here. And the reason I have read here, in the previously I talked about, think about it, because I know that the scenario is using valid and invalid combination. But that does not mean that you can test using invalid user ID with valid password. Think for a moment, really, this is a valid scenario. The reason I have it in red is I have seen it many places. The testers, especially who are new to the field, or who are sometimes just follow the directions or just follow it, they will write test cases like that, which is really not the quality work. You are spending time on something which is not a valid test case. So when you write a test case, think about end user, think about your business, think about, if you are the person who would be using this application, what should be your expectation? Sometimes, I have seen the QA really helps business in making certain decision when they think about, oh, really, is it going to be like this? Yeah, then a lot of times I have seen a good softwares come like that when we have a good QA in the company. So before proceeding to the next example, I would like to tell you what else do we need to know before writing our test cases. My previous example was just focusing on how to write the test cases. What are the minimum things that you need to know before writing a test cases? Now, in this example, we will be talking a little bit more in order to write the quality test cases, in order to execute our testing more efficiently. So, rather than knowing business requirement and test scenario, we also need to know whether it is a system change or it is a existing system, like whether it is a new system or we are making a changes to an existing system, whether there's a design term. As a QA, sometimes people say, why do you need to know what is getting changed? You need to know, how the system should behave. No, if you know how the system is designed, you can test things more efficiently, and I will walk you through. I will give you an example. So let's look at my example of online grocery store. I have taken a simple example here where this grocery store is selling fruits, vegetables, a dairy, condiments, and so many things. So the business requirement for this grocery store is to increase the price of all grocery products by 10% starting at a specific future date. That's the business requirement. What would be the test scenario based on this business requirement? Test individual grocery items, check the prices when they are in the cart, and check the invoice or the receipt. Now, in this case, I do not know how the changes are being made. I do not know anything about it. As a tester, I'm being told, hey, you don't need to know about it, or for whatever the reason is, I am blind to what changes are being made. So the changes could be the grocery prices are changing in maybe thousands of programs, maybe 2 programs, maybe it's coming from different areas, or it's just at one place. I do not know anything. Because I do not know anything, I will put due diligence in writing the test case. So I have to test everything out. What that means is I have to write thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of cases. Just giving an example here. In this case, test individual grocery prices, the first such scenario that we talked about. We would be validating fruit screen. I'm taking an example of fruit screen here. So first thing that you would be checking here is the look and feel, right? That's my first test case. Steps are: open the website, click on the buy grocery link, select fruits, and you should see all the fruits are listed there, right? And price are updated with the new pricing. Then you will check the individual item. Prices for mango, prices for apple, prices for banana, and you will keep writing. That's why I have here thousands of test cases. Then you will go to the vegetarian section, dairy section, canned product section, and so on and so on. You would be saying, I don't have a precondition here. In this case, I don't have any precondition because really for this particular example, a precondition could be the website link should exist, or the website should be there already, or maybe there is another link that is taking you to whatever the precondition is, you can fulfill here. And if it is a new application, let's say if it's a totally new application, then there will be no precondition. The only thing is this URL should be available to you. If it's a website, obviously if it's online shopping, it's a website, and you should be able to see everything here. But in this case, because it's an increase by 10%, so assumption is it's already existing. Now, the same example, scenario 2. So in this scenario 2, my precondition is fulfilled, like test case are successfully executed. Test case 1 and 2 are successfully executed before checking the receipt. Same thing, test case number, test case name, and test steps, and you would be writing your test data here. Like I selected mango 10 with a quantity, banana 5 dozen, or whatever you have. You can fulfill here based on that your expected results and the actual results. Now my same example, but in this case, I do know what is getting changed. So what is getting changed in this case is, I know that this happens in my company all the time, and there is a price table with a list of all the products with the price and the effective date. So And because this keeps happening all the time, there is a very streamlined process where the developer just update the SQL statement with the new prices and it works. In this case, because I know how this is going to work, what I have done is I will validate the before state by either go to the database table and pull the prices or asking the DBA. And then after they have made the changes. And for the sanity testing, I would be actually going to the screen and checking few items there. And if they are updated, my testing is done. Now the question comes, do I need to test scenario 2 and 3 in this case? My answer would be yes and no, depending upon the few things. Generally speaking, yes, for the sanity testing, just add 1 or 2 and see everything is working, nothing is broken. However, if this is a very common change, your company does it all the time, your company has a risk capacity, you can always call this out in your test strategy. Now, what are the things we can talk in the test strategy or a test plan that we can define, that you can see in my other videos, like where I have a detailed example of test strategy and test plan. So as I said, like if you know what is changing, you can make a better decision, you can write a better test cases, you can save company money, effort, time, and everything. So the purpose of this video was to give you some directions on how to write the quality test cases, what are the things you need to think about before writing any test cases, and what makes you a good QA. I hope you liked my video, and if you have any suggestions, please provide me feedback, or if you would like to hear about any specific topic, please do write me, let me know. All feedbacks are welcome. Thank you very much.